Hello, John Lynch from J Global Institute here. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to send a global email successfully for a very important request. And we're going to send it to a low context colleague, somebody in a country where all communication is super clear. The context or the background isn't shared so much. Everybody always explains everything from zero. So, a low context colleague, do they do overtime? Probably no, because they have a fixed working contract and it says go home at 5 o'clock. They go home at 5 o'clock. So those kind of people, they need to prioritize their work very carefully. And so they do the first task, finish, second task, finish, third task, time to go home, 5 o'clock, go home. Then tomorrow they start again. What's the first task, the second task? And if your email isn't one of their top priority tasks, then they may just keep putting it off again and again till tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. So, when you send the email, firstly, to only that person you're requesting. If you send it to multiple people, it might confuse them that they have to do it as a team, or maybe somebody else will do it. So, only one person. CC, best avoided. Definitely don't ask someone to do a task using CC. Most low context people think CC is like spam. It's sending something to me, but it doesn't say what you want me to do or why you're sending it. It's confusing. So only CC if it's very important. Definitely don't CC their boss at the beginning because it indicates a lack of trust. Subject should be your request, what you want them to do. For example, you want them to send samples to all your customers' factories. Clear request in the subject. If you've been sending lots of email to each other, change the subject this time if it's super important. And actually, this whole pattern is only useful if it's a very important task. Usually just use your normal pattern is fine. Hi Gunther, we're writing to a German because Germans are famous for being very low context, super clear people. And if you start off your email with a friendly or personal comment such as about the weather in Japan, it's very getting warmer now and the cherry blossom has finished. What's the weather like in Germany? He's going to think it's about the weather and he's going to read that tomorrow. You want him to read it today, so kick off with something motivating and clear. Something that's going to make him happy. That would be specific gratitude and praise. Not very about, like you're a wonderful person, but more like thank you for your wonderful help with sending samples to our clients last month. They love them. That will motivate and be clear. Now, Japanese people sometimes use a pattern called Kisho Tenketsu, where you start off with the background and slowly move into your point. Global business people are in a hurry. They would like to know your point at the beginning. So we recommend Ketsusho Ketsu. A friend of mine, Robert Hilke, pointed out this pattern. If you begin with your conclusion, super clear. So you have your purpose, a clear request. I'm writing to ask you to do something. Send samples. Next, details. The short information needed to do the task. It shouldn't be more than one screen. If it goes off the screen, looks like a big job, that's tomorrow's task. So you need to kind of trick them by saying all the information you need is in the attached file. And then you can format it much nicer. The attached file can have columns and pictures and diagrams, whatever you need. Then you finish with a clear request. And that request is what they need to do next. This has high impact. People remember things at the beginning and at the end more than anything else. And a due date. If no due date is written, he thinks you can do that anytime. But actually, you should say a due date and a reason. No reason written is not persuasive. So even if the reason is not so important, always say the reason. And that has been proven in psychological research. A request with a reason, request without a reason, which would you prioritize first? The due date, also be careful. Don't say the real due date because if any delay happens, that's a problem. So put some buffer time in, a few days or even a week, to make sure that you get it to Japan on time. Thanks again. Now the problem is he still isn't going to do this Because how does he prioritize his tasks? By the benefit for him, for his office or his company. So you need to explain very clearly the benefit for the reader. If you send these samples now, then you'll be able to get much bigger sales and maybe a nice summer bonus. So there's a pattern for you of how to communicate very clearly with low context colleagues by building the relationship, but more importantly, saying the action and the benefit. So thank you for watching and talk to you soon.